thanks for joining us this morning. This is the second of the sort of BSEEN Q&A session that we've put on, and really it's just designed to give you a little bit more information about the programme, and we've got a section where we sort of answer some of the questions that people usually have for us. But if we don't answer your individual question, then there's an opportunity for you to ask us that. And there's a couple of ways that you can ask your questions. You can either write it in the chat, and we'll pick it up from there and answer it. Or if you'd like to ask us face to face, you can just raise your hand. You'll see the sort of function at the bottom of the screen there. Raise your hand, and then we'll come to you and give you the opportunity to unmute yourself and ask your question. So I'll just put up the chat. Okay, so just a bit of background about the BSEEN programme. As it says there on the screen, it provides you with a whole range of support that you need to set up your business in Birmingham and to obviously develop and grow that. It's a collaboration between 4 Birmingham-based universities. You can see obviously the logos at the bottom there. So Aston University, which is where Jenya and I work, Newman University, Birmingham City University, and University College Birmingham. So the 4 of us from those 4 universities work closely together on BSEEN. As you can see there, the Aston team is myself, Carolyn Keenan, I'm the project manager for BSEEN, Kath Rice and Jenya Parnell. The 3 of us are on this call today. ECU, Richard Layton and Taz will be the 2 people who will be looking after you. At UCB, it's Joe Margits and Neeson Punj, and at Newman University, it's Helen Herman. So if you are from one of those, from a university other than Aston University, it'll be a good idea, if you haven't already, to seek out the people that manage the BSEEN project at your own university. So we've been running since 2010, and as you can imagine, over that time we have supported hundreds of students and graduates to start their own businesses. Some of them are still running today, others have gone off to set up new ventures or to work in the corporate field or with a SME or in the 3rd sector, but using the skills that they developed, the kind of entrepreneurial mindset that they developed. And we're EU funded, and it's regional development fund, so it's all about helping entrepreneurs in our region to set up growing businesses, and also to develop themselves by learning entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship skills. So the type of support that we offer our student and graduate startup founders, so we support them for a 12-month period. It's a selective process. So as you will have probably seen, there's an application form, an online application form on our BSEEN website. So you complete that. We'll talk a little bit more about how to put in a really good application a bit later in this presentation, but you'll complete that. We will evaluate that application, and those who we feel at the right stage for the support of BSEEN, we will invite in for a panel interview. And then if you're successful at that stage, you'll then have access to the whole support package that we have. So we kick it off with a boot camp covering all of the startup essentials, so things you would imagine: finance, digital marketing, sales, sort of developing your business plan, setting goals, all that type of thing covered in our bootcamp, which ordinarily, outside of these current times, we deliver face-to-face at one of the partner universities. But the last 2 bootcamps in May and June, we've successfully delivered online. And that's what we're going to be doing for the September bootcamp. So it will take place over about 2.5 weeks. And usually you'll have one or more likely two sort of 90-minute sessions during the day. The other advice that, support that we offer is expert guidance, and that can be in the form of a business mentor that we will assign to you. That's a pro bono business mentor. But equally importantly, it's the one-to-one advice that you'll receive from the enterprise consultant from the university that you're kind of linked to. So they will meet you regularly, check in with you, find out how you're doing, share with your successes, but equally sort of help you through, help you how to navigate any challenges that you're facing, and using the kind of support network that we have to signpost you to particular areas of support. So that could be that you would like to talk to an accountant, have a one-to-one with an accountant. You might want to have sort of some pro bono support from a solicitor or an IP attorney. So we will try and help you make those connections to support your business. And obviously, we are an incredibly supportive entrepreneurial community. We have a number of BSEEN alumni who are, still very interested in supporting startup founders that are just starting out now. And we will hook you up with that whole community. You will get to know the people on your cohort very well. So even though it's delivered online, we do as much as we possibly can to enable you to get to know the people that are on the program at the same time as you, and obviously they will be a very big support network for you, sort of going through the same kind of things going through. We do offer some startup funding, not a huge amount, about £500, but obviously it can be really helpful just when you're starting out to pay some of those expenses. It might be to pay some business insurance, some equipment that you need, some small amounts of stock that you need, that type of thing. It is a reimbursement process, so you will need to buy, once you've had approval from the BSEEN team, you'll need to buy the items up front, but we will reimburse you, in a timely manner. And the program also offers free co-working space. So depending on which university, again, that you're kind of aligned to, there's different co-working spaces available to you. So Aston University rents some space in Innovation Birmingham campus on the edge of Aston's campus. BCU have some space in Millennium Point, and UCB have some space in the new building that they have, and Newman has some space in and amongst their sort of careers department.
Thank you, Caroline. So, hi everyone, my name is Zhenya. As Caroline mentioned, I'm the project coordinator, and I'm going to talk to you about the eligibility criteria to join the program. So in order to join, you have to be a current student from one of the 4 universities, or a recent graduate, and by recent we mean somebody who's graduated within the last 5 years from any university. You can run your business during your studies, and that's specifically for Aston University, as a placement year or after you graduate. So I'm not sure if a placement year is something that you can do. You can do your business as a placement year in one of the other universities, so please ask your respective enterprise consultant. For international applicants, you are also able to join the program. You need to be endorsed for a startup visa, and again, for Aston University specifically, the startup visas are currently frozen. I'm just going to say a couple of things about the visas at Aston. So international applicants who want to join the BSEEN program need to be endorsed by this visa first. And unfortunately, because of the current COVID-19 situation, Aston has taken the decision to freeze startup visa endorsement for the time being, and we'll look at revisiting this decision early next year. Birmingham City University also endorses this visa. So if you are on the call and you're an international applicant from Birmingham City University, please contact them directly to ask if the situation at your university is different. As far as I know, University College Birmingham and Newman don't currently endorse the startup visa. International applicants can only be endorsed, and that's for everyone, after you complete your studies and because your study visa doesn't actually allow you to set up a business in the UK. If your visa has expired and you have to go back home before we have the next BSEEN intake, we at Aston are happy to, and have done so many times in the past, to interview people virtually, and if successful, endorse them to come back to the UK for whichever the closest intake is. We can take it, usually at this point we have quite a few questions from international applicants, so if some of you have questions, we'll just take them at the end of the session. The next eligibility point is that you have to be based in the Greater Birmingham and Solihull LEP area, and if you're not sure what this area encompasses, we're happy to check with you. You can just give us a postcode and I can let you know if it's eligible. You also have to have a viable business idea, and we'll explain this a little bit more in one of the next slides. It has to be a brand new idea, so a business that has not been registered, or if it's been registered, it shouldn't have been trading. So it can be registered in the last 12 months, but if you have started trading, you no longer qualify as a brand new business, so we wouldn't be able to support you. We cannot support property or retail businesses, and I'm going to give you a little bit more details about this. So, for example, an estate agent who will be buying and selling properties is something that we can't support. A retail example which we can't support would be setting up a physical shop or buying, for example, stock from China and reselling it in the UK, or any kind of reselling. We can support people who are designing and selling their own clothing brand, for example. And a property example that we can support is we have supported in the past property management companies. Again, if you have any questions about that, we can talk about it in the Q&A later. What is the application process? You have 3 opportunities to apply every year, and these are at Easter, usually at Easter, which is March or April, depending where Easter falls, June and September. You need to fill in an application form, as Caroline mentioned, and I've left the BSEEN website link there, and we can share the slides with you after the presentation as well. Then the next step is the panel interview presentation, and if you're accepted, you join the program starting with the bootcamp, at which point you need to be ready to legally register your business. So what we mean by this is that at the start of the bootcamp, we actually sit with you and help you register the business on Companies House if you're going to register a limited company, or on HMRC if you're going to register as a sole trader. So you really have to be ready to start trading within a few months rather than still be at that idea stage. Moving on. These are some, just very few examples that we can fit on the slide of the businesses that we have supported. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about just a few of them. The Delicate Mind is a registered charity which serves BAME and the BAME and the Muslim community through their mental health work, aiming to help others. It has been founded by Nikwat, who is a Birmingham City University graduate. And then we have the O'Driscoll Collective, which was founded in 2019 by Jamal O'Driscoll, who is a graduate from Newman University. And the aim of this community is really to bring together a collective of active enterprise adventurers with the aim to inspire and engage individuals of all ages through dance and movement. And then we also got Palm Life, which was founded by an international Aston graduate called Adil. Adil manufactures and sells single-use dinnerware, which is 100% natural, and it's made out of fallen palm leaves. It's really incredible to actually hold the plates in your hands, and Adu has the very ambitious purpose to build a world without plastic. And now Caroline is going to tell you some tips, share with you some tips about applying.
Thanks, Zhenya. Yeah, so obviously the most important thing is to check the eligibility criteria that Zhenya has just outlined to you, and ask us any questions if you're unsure. Also check the applications deadline. So the deadline for the September bootcamp, you may or may not be aware, is the 1st of August. So just make sure that you get your application in ahead of that deadline. Also, I mean, the application form is very much like an application form that you would fill in for a job. So, and it's really the only thing that we as a team have to go on to know about your business. So really make sure that you put down all the work that you've done on your business so far, because again, as Zhenya said, you will actually be launching your business during the bootcamp. You'll be registering it and launching it. So the expectation is that you've done a fair amount of the background work and particularly the research before you actually make your application. So make sure that you understand who your target market is. Make sure that you know who your competitors are and that you've checked them out. What sort of pricing strategy do they have? Make sure, really importantly, you know how you're going to make money from your business. What are your revenue streams? It might just be one simple revenue stream, but it might be that you've got others in there as well. So all these sorts of things, make sure you've thought about, done your research, and articulate well on your application form. There is a blog post that Kath's written on the website that goes into quite a bit more detail about how to put together a really good application. So it would be well worth having a look at that. And yeah, if throughout the application process, if you've got any questions, do discuss. Drop us an email and we will definitely get back to you on that.
Thank you, Caroline. So I'm going to carry on with the most frequently asked questions, and we'll try to answer them as best as we can, but if you still have questions after that, we have plenty of time to answer them. So the first question is, can I apply with a business partner or team? The quick and easy answer is yes, but we will assess why you want to apply as a team or with a partner. What are your strengths? What are you both contributing to the business? Why do you really want to work together? Then, can I start a business as part of my placement year? Yes, as I mentioned, if you're part of Aston University, you can take part in BSEEN during your studies as your placement year or up to 5 years after you graduate. The next question is, does my business need to be registered in Birmingham? Yes, definitely. This is a requirement of the program. Now, if you don't have a Birmingham, or as we say, the Greater Birmingham and Solihull area address available, you can use actually one of our addresses. So each university can provide you with a business address that you can use to register your business. The next question, can I sell outside of Birmingham and the UK? You can trade outside of Birmingham, and eventually, when your business grows and you're ready, you can, of course, trade internationally. But to start with, it should be a Birmingham-based business trading to develop and enrich the UK economy specifically. Do I have to write a business plan? International applicants have to submit a business plan as a compulsory requirement, but home and EU students or applicants don't have to. It's just an optional thing for you. I've previously registered as self-employed. If I join BSEEN, will I have to register again? The answer is yes. So if you've previously registered as a sole trader, the purpose of that registration would have been most probably a different business. And in order to be supported on the program, you need to register a new business. So if you have all registered as a sole trader in the past, you need to then set up a limited company with this new business idea that you're planning to come on BSEEN with. The final question on this slide is, will the university take any percentage or share of my business? The answer is no percentage or share will be taken by the university, because all the support that we provide through the program is free for you and it's for your own benefit. And we have a few more questions on the next slide. Do I have to invest any of my own money to start a business? This is entirely up to you. The program doesn't have any requirement from you to invest from your own money. The way the grant works is that you have to spend the money first and then we actually refund it into your bank account. The next question, do I have only one chance to apply for the program? No, if you apply and after we review your application and we advise you to take some steps to further develop your idea, such as maybe do some more research, gather some data, etc., you can then address our advice and apply again for the next cohort if you want to. Will you monitor my progress? Do I have to make a specific amount of money by the end of the program? We will keep in touch with you, yes, in order to help you, and we'll also create reports on the business, how the businesses are doing for the organization that funds the university or funds us, funds the program, but you are not checked upon and you don't need to make a certain amount of money at the end of the year. So the targets you have will be set by yourself. And finally, I have a few business ideas. How do I choose? Now, we recommend you only apply to BSEEN with one business idea. If you have lots of ideas, you can explore all of them before committing to one. But you should think about where your passion lies, what are your strengths, what resources you have access to. Do some primary, some secondary market research, do your competitor analysis, maybe even try doing a SWOT analysis of each of the ideas and a lean canvas. I'm not sure if all of you have heard of the term lean canvas or business model canvas, but it's basically a one-page business plan template which help you dissect your idea into key assumptions. And it's like a visual chart with elements describing a firm's or product's proposition, infrastructure, customers, and finances. So there is different things you can do really to narrow it down to one business idea. Now, these are the questions that we get asked most often, but I'm sure you probably have some of your questions. So we're going to open the floor to you and I'm going to read them out and Kath and Caroline are going to help answer them. So you can either, again, to remind you, you can raise your hand, which is a small person's icon at the bottom, and then we'll ask you to unmute yourself and ask your question, or you can pop it into the chat. Travis, okay? If you can unmute yourself, please, and ask your question. So Travis, next to your, if you go to participants, which is on the bottom right-hand side, and, oh, it's not working, okay. You can type up your question, and in the meantime, we'll see if Wilson, if you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah, my question is, you know, when you are a student and, for example, you're in your first year at the university, how are you able to join the business when you're in your first year, or you need first to complete your degree course?
Caroline, can you answer this question, please?
So Wilson, my understanding, you're currently a student, are you, at one of the partner universities?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you classified as a home student?
I'm a home student, yes, but I'm
Yeah.
in my year one pass.
Yeah, so if you're a home student, then you can apply for BSEEN at any stage. Obviously, what you perhaps need to think about is how much you've got going on and whether you can, whether you've got the time to devote to running your business and studying. But as long as long as you're happy with that, then you're welcome to put in an application at any stage.
So my question is, if your application is approved, do you have to complete your degree course before you can actually start the business, or you can start at any point when you're still a student?
It's the latter. You don't have to have finished your studies. You can run a business alongside being a student and studying.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So we're waiting for Travis to type the question. Before that, Zachary has a question.
Hello?
Oh, I can hear Travis.
Yeah, it's working now.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was saying, like, I have a few skills and ideas. Will BSEEN actually help me to, like, dissect what my skills are and then give some advice on what I could use as a business with those skills? Because I have like a few different things that I can do.
Travis, which university are you studying at a university?
Yeah, Birmingham City.
Okay. It sounds to me as though you'd be best placed to get in touch with Richard on TAS. I don't know whether you've been in touch with them before, but
No.
it sounds as though you probably need a little bit of help before you apply to BSEEN, so that you can get so as we've kind of said in this, BSEEN is when you've got a very firm, viable business idea.
Okay.
And we help you to launch that. But that said, Richard and Taz do some other things that will help you to get to that stage. We do a couple of we call them introductory workshops, and one is on creating business ideas, and the other one is on how to set up an online business.
Okay.
So both of those probably would be good for you to go along to. You'll learn some things from that.
Is their email going to be sent out for that, or is it...
Yeah, we can do. We can get you email address.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, thanks for that.
Okay.
I'm just going to pop in my email in the chat box. So I will send you information. I'll send you the presentation slides, the article that Kath has written with the tips about the application and any other useful information. But if you want something specific, like Travis to introduce you to Richard and Taz, just drop me an email and I'll introduce you in a separate email with them.
Yeah, the introduction will be good. Yeah, because I haven't heard of them either.
Okay, no problem.
Right.
Okay, now Zachary, I think is next. Do you want to unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, hi.
Hello. Hi, Zachary.
Hi. So I've filled out the application obviously before today and before listening to this webinar, and I feel like I've probably missed some things out. So in terms of going into detail about the primary research and secondary research that I have actually done, would I need to do the application again, or because I feel like after listening to the webinar, there's some things I definitely have missed out in terms of my preparation for everything.
And have you haven't actually submitted? You haven't submitted your application yet?
No, it hasn't been submitted. That's the thing. I have submitted.
Oh, you have submitted it?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you link to which university you link to?
Aston Uni.
Okay. Well, what you could probably do, if you like, is maybe send with the email that Jenya's just sent you. If there's some supplementary information that you'd like to put in there, send us an email, and we can have a look at that alongside looking at your application form.
Okay, I can do that then.
Okay, and then have you actually had have you had a one-to-one at all with anyone from the BSEEN? Have you spoken to Kath?
No, I haven't. No, I
Okay.
haven't. I think I just filled out the application about last week, Friday or so, or probably even during the weekend. It's not too long ago.
Okay. And where are you in your studies, Zachary? Are you a
I
student?
just graduated.
Oh, you just graduated. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's have a look at your application in the first instance with the supplementary information, and then
Okay.
we can then be in touch with you, have an ongoing dialogue about, what the next best steps are.
Okay. All right. That's fine then. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. We've had a question from Leila in the meantime, but Kath has answered that in the chat. Leila, is there anything else? Or was it you that you can't hear anything actually? Okay, any other questions? Wilson has another question. Yeah, please feel free to unmute yourself.
Hello. Yeah. I actually forgot to ask this question, which I think is quite important. Is that there are many types of business, of which some of them you actually sell your service. For example, probably you'd like to set up a home for children. Would that be something that can be funded by BSEEN?
Well, the funding that we give is a very small amount, so it's only about £500. So what I think you need to bear in mind is how when you come on to BSEEN is to have a fair idea of how you would be able to fund if it's quite a big undertaking. Because what we wouldn't want you to do is register a business but then not be able to get the funding to actually get it off the ground.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Okay.
Thank you both. Any other questions from anyone else? Okay.
Did you say, I think one of you guys mentioned a online shop? Is that a thing that you guys would go with? Sorry.
Yeah, the workshop is called How to Set Up an Online Business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we would consider online businesses, but it tends to be where you've actually added value. So you couldn't, for example, just buy a ton of cheap stuff from China and set up a website. But if you were, I don't know, buying some t-shirts and then designing them yourself and then selling them, then that's something that we could support. So and what we can't support, obviously, is, as Jenny said, is like somebody wanting to set up a physical shop. That isn't something we could support.
Oh man, okay, that was gonna be my next question. Like, what if you get to the point where the business has grown and you want to set up like a physical one? Okay.
Oh, I think you could do that beyond the point of the BSEEN support, but we couldn't support somebody whose whole business plan was, renting a shop in the Bullring and wanting to set that up. That's slightly different.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you. We've got a question from Leila. For a food business to be at the right stage, what point does it need to be at? And is crowdfunding a revenue stream? I can answer the second one. Easy answer. Yes, definitely crowdfunding is a revenue stream. At what point does the business need to be at the right stage if it's a food business?
I can answer that.
Okay.
So I think, I don't think any of this is going to be like a black and white answer of, you have to have done these specific things, but for us to kind of accept you on to the program, we just want to know that the business is a viable idea and it's something that you can carry out. So for a food business, we'd want to see that you would have a good understanding of, like any regulations and legal issues that you might face. Do you have to do a hygiene qualification? Where are you going to produce this food? Kind of to have thought about and done research into those practical matters about starting a food business is important. I think we'd want to understand, what are your skills in this area? Like, have you got any qualifications in cooking or producing food, or have you done it before? What's your kind of talent in that area? And also who your customer is, and have you done anything to kind of test your product out with that audience? Have you made food for family and friends? Like, what's the feedback? We just want to see that it's more than just an idea in your head. You've made some steps towards showing us that it can be a real business. So yeah, I can't kind of give you a list of things to say, oh, we want to see all this stuff, but it's good maybe to just anticipate what kind of questions we might ask you in your interview, to understand how this will actually work as a business. So it's great to know about the food and all about that, but we really want to know how you're going to actually bring this to life, really. So we don't expect you to have all the answers, definitely, because that's part of what we want to help you with. But equally, you have to have made a good start. But I think if you're not sure, just ask. I'm not sure which university you're from, but just ask your enterprise consultant. You can get some feedback maybe before you apply, or if you do apply, we go back to applicants if there isn't enough information. So it won't be a case of you applying, being rejected and not knowing why, or sort of not having any contact with us at all. So I think just do as much as you can, get it as far along as you can for your own confidence as well, that it's something that you feel like has a good chance of succeeding. And then, yeah, I think you'll be in with a good chance.
Thank you, Kath. Any more questions from anyone else? Okay. Asfandiar, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Can you unmute yourself and ask, please?
Hi, yeah, I want to ask, do you have to have a registered company before you can join BSEEN, or could you do it afterwards?
I can answer this.
Oh, okay. Go on then.
Sorry. No, so ideally you wouldn't have registered a company. We have a business registration workshop before the boot camp where we have a accountant who talks who makes a presentation about the benefits and the pros and cons about self-employment or registering a limited company. And then if you still have questions, you can discuss it with each university, whichever university you're from. And then we have a separate session to actually sit down and register the business, and we take you step by step through whichever option you've chosen. So you definitely don't have to do it before you start.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I also wanted to know that if you've been trading but without a company, would that still be viable or no?
If you've been trading, what, sorry?
If you've been trading, so if you've been selling goods and whatnot, but you don't have a company name or anything, would you still be viable for the BSEEN program or no?
So if you are trading, you wouldn't be eligible at all, because we classify new businesses as businesses that have not been trading. So if you have started officially trading, then unfortunately we can't support you. The business name is not an issue to us. We send you some documents to look through if you're successful before you join the bootcamp, of things that you need to keep in mind. So for example, we advise you to check if the name that you've chosen already exists, because on the day that you register, we want you to have a name in mind that you register with. But that's not an issue for us, and that's just before you actually register.
Okay. And also, what if you need tools to do some part of your business? How would that work? Would you be able to use university resources, or would you have to get your own stuff?
University resources such as having access to the library and articles, or
more like a lab where you can do 3D printing and stuff like that.
It depends what university you're from. So at Aston, I don't believe we have but at BCU you've got Steam House, which has I believe 3D printing and some other kind of up-to-date technology. So you probably be able to use some there. Which university are you from?
I'm from Aston.
Okay, well, if you speak to us separately and we get an idea of exactly what you need, we can point you in the right direction or tell you if it exists or it doesn't at Aston. So maybe we
Okay.
can arrange a one-to-one separately.
Okay, that's fine then. Because I actually already have most of the tools, so I've got the 3D printers and everything that I need. It's just that if I were to need more tools, would I be have to order them myself then?
If you're going to be using them for your day-to-day business activities, it probably will be best to, yes, because at Aston, it will be something that obviously is used first by the students. So there has to be a specific time that it's free and it's arranged. So for your own ease, to have access to it all the time, and you can use your BSEEN grant towards something like this if you want.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. So you could probably use the university resources for prototyping and stuff like that, but if it were to go mass production, then you would need to get your own instruments, I guess.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay.
Just going off that Steam House, did you say Steam House has facilities for printing? Like, I know they said 3D printing, but what about like t-shirt printing?
I'll be honest, from top of my head, I don't know. So it'd be best to ask Richard or Taz. It's quite a
Yeah.
big facility, and I don't know actually how they're working now with the whole situation. I don't know if they're open at the moment, but they are. It's an impressive facility with quite a lot of new technology in wood, metal production, 3D printing, and things like this. You can go on the website. You can also give them a call if you're from BCU. They'll be more than happy to speak to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Preet, I think you're next. Do you want to unmute yourself?
Oh, yeah, Catherine just answered my question in the chat. But yeah, I was just wondering if international students can seek out some help and advice, even though the startup visas are frozen, just because I know some of us are applying through agencies or individually with the UK government for startup visas.
So I think probably talking about two separate things there. So
Yeah.
we can't help with visas because we're not visa advisors. So anything would be to do with the visa, it would be the hub.
Right.
But unfortunately, that's not going to change the fact that they're still frozen.
Yeah.
So if you're applying through agencies, I don't really understand how that would work because it's still the university who are endorsing you. So I don't yeah, anyway, I'm sure there's different situations, but
Yeah.
but in terms of preparing a business plan to eventually submit to seek endorsement for the visa, yeah, and any international student who has come to us is offered like that support, but obviously
Okay.
we need people to get in touch to be able to
Yeah,
speak
of
to
course.
them.
Yeah, I'll let everyone know my program.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone who's shown an interest in the visa has had an email to say that. So that they're welcome to get in touch, but obviously without any dates, we don't know when it's going to happen. So it's we can offer support, but it might not be kind of today, like because
Right.
it might be a little bit later on, just to kind of set expectations about time and stuff, because
For sure.
if people can't join the program until next year, then it's it probably wouldn't be in anyone's benefit for us to get involved at this earlier stage, because so many things could change. People can might decide not to go for the visa if they can only do it next April or something. So I think anyone who's interested should just get in touch so we know their individual situation, and we can can help how we can.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you. Okay, we've got a question from Wilson.
My question is, I've done my application already, and then just after asking a few questions that I've done regarding the funding, I think my business idea are really so big. And is there any way I can change my business plan? And if so, how can I do it? Business idea,
I think if you wanted to resubmit with a new business idea, you could do that, and then maybe let us know. We can obviously speak to Richard and Taz that you don't want to go ahead with your first one, but you've got a second business idea. I think that's probably the best way of doing it.
Okay, how can I do that? Because I've already submitted my application. Is there a way I can?
You need to do another one, and then maybe if you drop us an email and let us know that you want your second application to be considered and not your first one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay. You can email me, Travis. My email is somewhere in the chat. I'll copy it in again. Any other questions?
Yeah, I was wondering in terms of marketing, what kind of help could we expect?
We have a full session on digital marketing that's led by someone called Stuart Harrison from Burning Need, who is a marketer by trade, and he's also run his own, well, he's still running his own business. So he does a whole workshop with you around all sorts of different types of digital marketing that you can undertake for your startup.
Yeah, that's great. And also, like, so would that be available like throughout the year, or is that something that you do within the week program?
That one specifically is within the boot camp.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Just to add to that, it might be that when you're matched with a mentor, that if you kind of said marketing was a key area you needed support with, then your mentor would, hopefully have some expertise in that area. So that would be another way of getting support.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we will be here for another 1 or 2 minutes, but I think we can wrap it up here. Thank you very much for coming, everyone. We have recorded this presentation, so I'll send you a link. I'll send you the presentation itself and the article that I mentioned earlier. And then if you have any individual questions, please get back to me and I'll either point you in the right direction or answer them. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, also actually wanted to ask about market research. So what kind of help could you get from that? So for example, if you wanted to speak to a professor or something, would someone from BSEEN help you get in touch with them or anything like that?
Yeah, so market research is again a topic that would be covered during the training that's provided at the bootcamp. And then after that, you'd have a meeting with your enterprise consultant. So yeah, who that would be me at Aston. And if that was a key area you needed support in, then yeah, we'd look to introduce you to people who could help. It might not be an academic, it might be, as I mentioned, a mentor or someone else who supports us with the program, or I myself could advise you on that. But it depends on every individual's needs. So the boot camp covers like key topics, and then if you need to go into more detail on something, we talk about that afterwards. But there's nothing to stop any of you kind of reaching out to people yourselves as well, as a student or graduate of Aston, getting in touch with other Aston kind of staff members. We can help with it, but also you guys can do that as well. So yeah, we would help advise on that.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
What's like a base level of market research you should probably do before submitting a business idea or anything, or do you need to do any at all?
Yeah, you would need to do some. So we'd expect to see kind of a general understanding of like the market you're going, you're going into. So maybe some figures from desk research on how big that market is it growing, that kind of thing. We'd want to see some competitor research, that who your competitors are, that you've looked into that quite thoroughly, and ideally some primary research. So have you spoken to any of your target customer, or even maybe like potential suppliers or people that you'd need to work with to make the business happen? Have you already had some of those conversations, even if it's really, really early days? It just helps us to see if this is something that is doable, and there is a need for out there. So it doesn't have to be anything really formal or that's taken you months to do or anything, but just if you can show us you've been proactive about speaking to people like that, it's a really good thing.
Okay. Would it be okay to like use your family or friends to or for market research rather than the people you're kind of aiming the product at?
No. So if they're not your target market, then it's not really you're not really validating the idea properly. If they're just, and they're likely to just give you nice feedback, they
Yeah.
probably won't give you a fully honest answer. So if they happen to be your target market, then that's excellent. But if they're not, then no, not really. Although obviously most people do that. They ask their friends and family, what do you think about my idea? But in terms of validating the idea as a real business, I'd say you have to go a bit further than that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that probably makes sense. But for the market research itself, would we have to give like a evidence of like we've actually conducted it with real people and haven't made it up or anything like that, or it should be all right?
It's a good question. I mean, I suppose the answer to that is like this isn't like a piece of university work. It's not going to be checked for like plagiarism or
Yeah.
for anything like that. But if you're not doing this research kind of properly, I'd say it's only like yourself who is at a disadvantage, because if you're not taking these steps to really understand if there is a real need for this, then it's ultimately you who's going to suffer, not us. So
Yeah.
we trust that what you're saying is true. We don't want to, we don't necessarily need to see all the evidence, but I wouldn't recommend making it up, which
Fair
I'm
enough.
sure you wouldn't. But yeah, that's basically
Okay.
it's in your own interest to do it properly.
Yeah, be a very quick survey monkey that you send out to people in your target audience. It could be that you just go, it's a bit difficult at the moment. I guess normally you could go and stand with a clipboard and ask people questions, but probably with
Can't do that now.
COVID-19 you can't do that. But it's important to find out, what they think of your actual service. Also, would they be prepared to buy it? How much would they be prepared to pay for it? So these sorts of things that you and as Kath says, it's something that you really need to know for your business. It's not just an academic exercise, because you don't want to pour your heart and soul into something and then find out that there really isn't a market. Nobody wants whatever it is that you're producing, because that would just be soul destroying. So that's why we ask you to do this sort of thing.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Could we use like forums or whatnot? So if you go into like online forums and just see that, people that are interested in something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that's talking to your target audience is absolutely fine. Yeah, that's a very good way of doing it.
Forums, social media. Yeah, so I think that kind of stuff is really good, and it should be can be quite quick as well. I've heard some people really big market research in things like Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups or something like that, where say I can't think of an example, but say the Facebook group is it's a themed group where your target market's going to be, putting messages in there and just seeing what comes back can be really, really useful.
They could be for your potential first customers as well, which is really good thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, because I've got a product that I want to sell, but I've tried to post it online and whatnot, and I've got some feedback. So that'd be useful. I guess I could use that then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Also, like the product that you want to sell, does it have to be completely unique, or could it just be like a different version of what already exists?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. It's it's rare that there aren't any kind of competitors out in the marketplace, but you obviously need to sort of know what makes yours different, what makes it better, what makes it stand out. Why would people buy it from you as opposed to what's already in the marketplace?
Yeah. Okay. Because thing is, something that I want to sell is it has more of a artistic value. So I think that's kind of difficult to gauge because everyone's got their own perception of what looks good and what not. So something like that would be a bit difficult to sell, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's where you need to really think about who you're trying to sell it to,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
what sort of price point they'd be prepared to pay.
Mm. Yeah, that's the thing. Like currently now, one thing I'm struggling with is just doing the research because, as you said, friends, family, they're going to be biased, and trying to find other people, who you can ask is quite difficult because online you can post, but there's a certain amount of attention you can get depending on how many followers you have and whatnot. And personally, I'm not a social media guy, so that's quite tricky for me as well.
Yeah, what about some of your friends, maybe who've got more of a social media following than you? Could you ask them to share a small survey or, something like that?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'll try that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry to interrupt. I think we've got Travis as well has got another question.
Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, I was gonna say how, in terms of getting together the market research, because through I can't pronounce the other guy's name talking, I realized that I've actually done market research without actually realizing.
Okay.
So I kind of have a clear idea now from when I first entered the seminar to now of actually what it is that I want to do, which so it's good. So I've done a couple of designs and stuff that I've sent out and had feedback from different communities on Facebook and stuff like that. But how do you want me to put that together? Do I just take screenshots or do I just write down the findings?
I think for the application form, you'll probably just write a summary of what you did and what the findings were. But maybe then, if you get invited to interview, you could actually, on your presentation, you could include screenshots of what you did, and obviously you'll put images of what the products
And that's where the
designs
problem is,
are.
because when I did the application, I kind of didn't include all of that because I didn't realize that's what I have been doing. So I might have to do another application, which
Is
I've
it
emailed
is it
about.
is it BCU that
Yeah,
you're linked to again?
yeah,
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 I mean, you could try just emailing. If we give you Richard's email address, you could try emailing him in the first instance. Just say, this is some information that from the Q&A.
yeah.
I've omitted. I've realised I've omitted to put in my application, and it probably should be something that would be good for you to know. I would try
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
I would
okay.
try that in the first instance, Travis, rather than, because if the actual business hasn't changed, but you just want some more to put forward some more information, I think that might be the
Yeah.
best way of doing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'll just wait for the email back from, is it Xenia?
That's right.
Xenia?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll get Richard. I think Taz is off at the moment, so probably best to drop Richard a line. But if you put that you took part in this Q&A today,
Yeah.
and as a result, you've realised that there's some additional information that's good for him to know, I think that, and we can probably let him know that you're going to do it as well.
Oh, that'll be good. Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, is that pretty much it now, I think?
I've actually got one last question to ask, sorry. I want to know, if you wanted to expand your business and you needed to employ people to work for you, would you get any help in that, or is that something you would have to carry out on your own?
We would be there to support you in that and to offer you guidance, but obviously ultimately it would be up to you to carry it out. But again, like I said, it might be that hook you up with a mentor, or we can signpost you in the right direction so that you're doing that sort of thing, properly abiding by the employment law and things like that.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's fair enough then, because like what would be like specific help you would get, because like when you're trying to employ people, it's kind of hard to find them. So what strategies could you use to find people really?
I'm sure there's lots of things that we can tell you, but obviously perhaps not right now on this call. But
yeah.
we've all had experience of recruiting, and we can obviously put you in touch with mentors or BSEEN alumni who've done the same thing. So it's all part of being this sort of part of the supportive entrepreneurial community, really.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Right, then we draw this to a close. Thank you very much for joining us.